Welcome to Jennifer to the Rescue. I'm Jennifer Johnson, and you can always check out my website. It's called, jennifertotherescue.com. Well, it's a mouthful. Literally, you write it all out, you'll find me there. What do? I do a bunch of connecting, and I'm trying to bring great people to this platform, and you're included in that.
Awesome.
Is this great or what? And we want to thank you, a big thank you out to Logan Street Signs and Banners, Hamilton County Television for allowing us to come in every week and make this whole thing possible. And we are joined today by Tom Malapit. Now, you go by Tom. I call you Tom.
Yeah, Thomas is my formal name, but I go by Tom.
But it's McKinney and Malapit Law.
That's correct. Yes.
And that's a mouthful, too.
That is a mouthful.
And I've known you for a while, and obviously we're sitting here, and you've they're saying, well, he's a good dresser, he looks really nice, but we need to know why we need to care about you. Who are you?
Sure. Well, I'm Tom Malapit.
Yes, you are.
Originally, I was born in California, Riverside, California. My parents met out there, and Dad was in the Air Force, and my mom was a Southern California resident at the time, and so they met out there, and then they progressed their way back to Muncie, Indiana to pursue jobs.
Okay.
A lot of factory jobs in Muncie at the time.
Oh, okay.
And so we progressed. I was born in California, but raised really in Muncie, Indiana.
Interesting.
Other family, I've got one brother, and John. He's out over by Cincinnati, and he's got a successful. He's in the car business.
Oh.
And he works for a big Chevy car dealership there. I've got 3 kids. I've got my oldest is Carson, and Carson's a freshman at IU. And I've got another daughter, Reese. She's a junior at Yorktown High School. And then I have a son who's Parker. He's a freshman at Yorktown High School.
Wow, you have your hands full because you have a big group of teenagers.
I do have a big group of teenagers.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So you started out. You were born in Muncie.
No, I was born in Riverside, California.
Okay, I'm sorry, because you said that, and then so the jobs really took them to Muncie, Indiana?
Yeah, back in the early 70s, Muncie was a hotbed for a lot of factory jobs. There was a Chevrolet plant, there was a Borg-Warner plant, there was a Westinghouse plant, and there was a Delco Remy plant. And with all those factory jobs, there's a lot of migration to Muncie for that reason.
That's true. I guess that's true. So you have your kids are in college, but what did you do? We know you're here. Well, how did you get into law? That's the question.
Sure.
I'm getting a bunch of laughter from the peanut gallery out here.
That's all right.
But really,
well, I always kind of had an interest in law. My dad kind of piqued my interest initially, and then through high school, I kind of figured out that's kind of what I wanted to do. So I started taking some classes in high school to help with that, and then went to St. Joe College in Rensselaer and got an opportunity to play basketball, a partial scholarship up there. Realized that I was really ready for the big school atmosphere because my graduating class at Cowan High School was only 59.
Oh, wow.
so I was looking for big school atmosphere,
sure.
And I wanted to go to Ball State, and came back to Ball State, and I majored in political science, which was another area that kind of helped prepare me for law school. I ended up getting a marketing minor. And then after that, I kind of took a year out, took the LSAT to try to get into law school.
Which is the law test,
school aptitude
right?
test.
Oh, is that what it stands for? Law school aptitude. I guess so.
There you go.
I know, that's why I have you smart people on the show. So that, okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
But one of the things that, I did okay on the test.
You did okay.
But I was looking at trying to get a better score. And so one of the things I did, and I would encourage anyone who has any interest in law whatsoever, is to look into speed reading. Because one of the things that helped me is to do better the second time I took the LSAT was I got through all the questions, the reading comprehension side of it, being able to get through it. It was a really good course that really helped improve my score. And I would encourage anybody in high school or college to look at speed reading. I was not particularly someone who enjoyed reading, but when you go to law school, you really don't have a choice.
Right, no kidding.
So then after Ball State, I graduated, took 1 year out. I clerked for a law firm, kind of got a feel for what it was really about. And then I put my applications out, and I got into Indiana University, there's two different law schools, Indiana universities. One is in Indianapolis, and that's where I went. There's another school in Bloomington, and then there's also two other law schools. There's one in Notre Dame, and then there's one in Valparaiso. And Indiana also has a fifth school that is not accredited yet up in Fort Wayne, Indiana Tech, and so we're still waiting to see what they do.
Interesting. So you ended up in law, and one of the questions, we're going to take a short break here in a few minutes. We got a couple minutes, so this would be a good time. What's the difference between an attorney and a lawyer? I mean, I don't know. We could probably talk about that. And is it a long, drawn-out explanation?
No, it's a good question. And I actually didn't know the difference until law school. I had a professor in law school teach us the difference. And really what it is, a lawyer is someone who's learned in the law. Somebody who goes to law school, they learn about law, they graduate law school. But most of the time, lawyers are somebody who either have a business job, a corporate job, someone who doesn't really practice in a legal field per se. An attorney is someone who actually takes the bar exam, which is required to get your license. And so the difference really is an attorney is licensed to practice and can represent clients, whereas a lawyer cannot. So they're learned in the law, but they can be a professor, they can be teachers, they can be in business, they can be in the government world in all kinds of different jobs as a lawyer. But in order to represent clients, you have to have a license. And so that's what the difference is.
Interesting, because I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, so I'm not going to tell you who's told me, but they said there was no difference. And I was thinking, no, I beg to differ. I know Tom Malapit, and he says, I knew you had that, but that's interesting. I thought it was kind of more of a preference, whether you wanted to be called an attorney or a lawyer, which one sounded better with your name.
Most people today use it interchangeably. That they really don't understand or know the difference, and so we recognize that.
Well, we're going to talk a lot more about the practice and what you guys do, but let's make sure everybody knows how to get a hold of you.
Sure.
And in a nutshell, if somebody's listening, we have listeners on the radio, but if somebody's just thinking, I need to talk to a lawyer, tell us in a nutshell, and we'll go into it more in a detail before we do the contact information. What is your specialty? What do you guys do?
We really have three specialties that we deal in. We do a lot of business and corporate work, which when you say business and corporate work, there's all kinds of things. Setting them up, maintaining them, doing buy-sell agreements, doing mergers, bylaws, and keeping track of what they do on an annual basis. But that's one thing, business and corporate work. We do a lot of litigation, which litigation's both civil and criminal. So we do, one of my specialties is doing what they call eminent domain or condemnation litigation. And I can talk about that a little bit more after the break.
Yeah, definitely.
But then our third real specialty is doing a lot of estate planning and estate administration, which means we draft wills, trusts, that kind of thing. And then when someone passes, we help administer their estate.
And we've definitely talked about that. We're in a networking group together, and we're talking about that all the time. It just seems like everybody needs that. They don't realize how much they need it. So tell us, how do they get a hold of you?
Probably the easiest way is to go to our website, which is located at mandmlegal.com. And the and is spelled out, so it's MANDM legal.com.
And they can also email you at tom@mlegal.com. We'll come right back here, and we're going to talk a lot more about McKinney and Malapit. And we'll be right back.
Thank you.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street Signs and Banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
Welcome back to Jennifer to the Rescue, and I just like how we're color coordinated today. I could have worn all kinds of colors, and Tom we did good. I didn't even send you a memo. Thank you very much for tuning in. And Logan Street Signs and Banners is our wonderful sponsor every week. Hamilton County Television and Logan Street Signs and Banners makes it possible for us to come in every week and do this. And I'm going to just...
And how can they get a hold of you?
That's right. Up front, JenniferToTheRescue.com is my website. You can call me at 317-513-6823. And, if you want to talk to Tom, I'll even put you in touch with him. But he will share his contact information. Oh, there it is. But you know what? I'm going to apologize first off because we were joking on the break. I called you a lawyer. You're both.
I'm actually both because I'm learned in the law, but I'm also an attorney because I'm licensed to practice.
So I've got it etched in my mind. You're an attorney. We know that. And you're an attorney. What you do all kinds of different things. Can you share with us something that's like your most interesting, or maybe a couple of your most that you can share with us? I'm sure there's something.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably one of the more fun things I do is some of the eminent domain condemnation work. So what that really means is that the best example I can use actually here in Hamilton County is someone takes your property, whether it be the city, the state, to put in a roundabout, or they take part of your property to widen a road. It could be utilities. There's different reasons why your property is more important for a public use than it is for your own private use. And so my job, really, I consider myself more of a defender of the Constitution, and the Constitution requires you to get paid just compensation for anything that's taken from you.
Okay.
And so I represent landowners to make sure that they get paid fairly for whatever is taken by, whether it be the city, state, for the improvements. And probably one of the more interesting cases that I've been involved in the I-69 project down in Bloomington quite a bit. And I have permission from this client to share some of this information. But Mark Freeman had interviewed a few other attorneys for a case that he had down in Bloomington. He had a very unique case in that the state wanted 15 acres of his property. And with that 15 acres, they're going to put an extension of the I-69 to connect to what goes to now Evansville. But as a part of that, Mr. Freeman had already done his homework, and he had already been involved in learning that he had limestone on his property in that 15 acres. In fact, he had over 100 feet of limestone. And before this case, I had no idea how valuable limestone was. And so I've since learned a lot in representing him, to the point where we've got 2 counties in Indiana that really primarily have Indiana limestone. And Indiana limestone is used for a lot of buildings throughout not just Indiana, but throughout the entire world. The Pentagon, there's the Washington Monument, the Capitol here in Indianapolis. There's 17 state capitals that are made out of Indiana limestone. There's lots of colleges that use Indiana limestone on their campus for their buildings. And what I've learned is the reason why they use Indiana limestone is that it has this unique quality that if it can be cut and shaped, but when it's put up on a building, one of the unique differences is it petrifies. So unlike some other stones that get weathered by, over the years, the Indiana limestone actually hardens. And so that's why they use it in a lot of buildings that are going to be around for a long time. But in this particular case, Mr. Freeman had over 100 feet of limestone in this stretch of 15 acres. And the state had come in, and I don't remember the exact number, but it was somewhere around $98,000 they were offering him. And we got some experts involved to try to help figure out really what the limestone's worth and how you value that.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up settling that case for $1.5 million.
Wow.
So one of the things that we really had to do, though, is I had to educate myself about Indiana limestone,
Sure.
figure out who the right people were to present that. And that's something, I mean, that's a unique result, but that's a really good result for a
Yeah,
client.
it's a great result.
And it's a result that they probably could not have gotten without, the benefit of having an attorney.
Oh, sure. So you had to really, so any situation, you have to become kind of the expert on
That's right.
whatever it is. So you did the limestone. That's got to be. Anything else? Any others? Like, I mean, maybe not quite that
That's
great.
that was kind of a really good result, but we've had similar results like that, not quite to that scale, on some smaller, what we call takings. There's been the very first case that kind of got me involved in doing this happened back in, I believe it's 2000 now. So I've been doing this work for about 15 years, and I kind of got thrown into it. There was a partner in the firm that brought me to that firm, said, Tom, I don't want to do the litigation. I need some help.
Mm-hmm.
We've got this case, and I think there's something you can do with it. And with the help of some really good appraisers, they taught me how to do this particular area of law. And in that case, there was an expansion of a state highway to put in a turning lane. Well, as it turns out, there was a farmhouse there. And this is my very first case. So I really was kind of learning as I go. And as it turns out, that turning lane was coming, and the property that was being taken was coming within 10 feet of the front porch of this farmhouse. And in order to do this take, the state actually acquired 2 huge trees that provided protection, shade, from any vehicles going off the road. And as it turns out, the engineer in that particular case, he testified, and when he was on the witness stand, he said, I asked him, I said, well, Mr. Engineer, when these vehicles go down this road and they make this little jog in the road, in what direction are they facing? And he said they're facing right towards the front door. And I said, well, can you tell us how many vehicles travel this road on a day? Because there's engineering studies that tell you this. He said, well, on average, there's about 10 to 12,000 vehicles a day.
Wow.
And I said, well, how many of those are semis? And he said, about half. And I said, really? And I said, well, if they're facing in this direction, what happens if they don't correct? He said, well, they just plow right through the front door. So that gives you some idea how, well, in that case, the state, in that case, offered that client $18,000 for the strip of land right there in front of their house. And the jury, by the time the end of the jury trial, we had convinced them that this was really what we call a complete taking of the house, which made that house worth nothing at the end. And the jury awarded us over $200,000 for that particular case. So that opened my eyes as to what possibilities I could do in this area to help represent clients get paid just compensation.
Well, those are 2 great examples. I'm just sitting here thinking, wow. I mean, I don't know. I'd have the time. I don't know. Just sounds like you're really diligent. Obviously, that speed reading thing really did help you, didn't it?
That did help.
Tell them how do we get a hold of you again, and the website and your phone number and all that stuff.
Sure. We actually have 2 offices. We have an office.
Make sure they know that. Yeah.
Yeah, we have an office here in Indianapolis. It's 10475 Cross Point Boulevard, Suite 250. And it's an Indianapolis address, but we really refer to it as our Fisher's address. But we also have an office in Muncie, Indiana, which is 114 East Washington Street, and that's there in Muncie, and it's 47305. But also anymore, when people are trying to find us, they want to go online.
Right.
So, we've got Facebook, Twitter, webpage. If they want a direct email, it's on the screen, but it's tom@mnmlegal.com.
Okay, and the website is mnmlegal.com. Do you have M&Ms on your web? I'm joking. It just sounded funny. I don't know, but I know you have a very distinct logo, so that's not M&Ms. I know that, though.
We had to be careful.
Yes, because that could have been. That's true. You know all about that,
I
don't you? We're going to take a short break and come back and hear a little bit more from Tom and, good referrals and that kind of thing. So we'll be right back.
When when Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street Signs and Banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
Welcome back to Jennifer to the Rescue, and thank you so much for tuning in, checking us out. We are here every week. The plan is every week. Sometimes things change, but we're always being sponsored by Logan Street Signs and Banners, and we're here at the beautiful Wofford Theater here in Noblesville. And if you want to know more about me, you can check out jennifertotherescue.com, all written out. And one of the things I love to do is to have great guests on, and you've been a great guest. We're having a great time. Well, I am. I don't know about you, Tom, but and this is Tom Malapit, attorney at law with McKinney and Malapit Law.
That's right.
Is that the right one? Okay. So you don't do all this stuff all by yourself. You obviously have a partner.
I do.
And
and he's the first one in the name, McKinney.
McKinney.
And Mark and I have been friends for more than 15 years now.
You
and
really are older than I thought you were.
I know. I've been practicing 19 years.
It's amazing how time goes by. I'm like, we're all kids. No, we've been out there a little bit. Go ahead.
It's been out there. And I've grown this through November, too. So, but no, Mark, my partner, was a former prosecutor and did a lot of work in the prosecutor's office, and that's where I met him. We actually met back in 1999. I worked with him there. And we've worked privately, together for the last 3 or 4 years now. I think it's 4 years now. But Mark's got a great background too. You know, he was a Muncie guy originally. His family was really big into archery, and so Mark got a scholarship to Arizona State to compete, and he was an All-American while he was there.
Really?
And so he graduated from Arizona State, and then he went to IU Law School in Bloomington. And he's got a great family too. His wife, he's got 2 kids. One, his daughter Hannah's down in Florida Southern on a track scholarship, and he's got a son Will, who's in high school, same age as my son Parker, freshman in high school. But yeah, we've got great staff. We've got Josh Brown. He's been practicing. He's been with us the last couple of years. Fresh face, really diligent, good, hardworking attorney. He does a lot of work in family law area. He's got the patience for it, which that kind of practice does require patience. Yeah. And then we've got some really great paralegals. We've got a gal who, her full-time job, we call her second shift because her full-time job, works for the post office.
Really, truly.
But she's got over 15 years of experience doing both estate administration and estate work, and then she also has done a lot of personal injury work. And so she comes in after her regular day job, and then she helps fill in the blanks and helps do some of the things after hours that really help make us flow.
I'm sure. So you have, I know that in one of our networking meetings, though, you brought your whole, there was more than just 4 of you.
Oh, yeah.
So you have so you have some. So you've got 2 offices. You obviously have other support staff.
We do.
Okay.
We've got 4 paralegals. We've got an office manager, Rebecca, who does a great job of doing all the administrative stuff that keeps us attorneys practicing and doing what we're good at. And then we also, Reese Freeman, he's been a law clerk for us. Reese is a Valpo graduate, and he's in Bloomington. And we are toying with the idea of setting up a Bloomington office and having Reese help us down there, because we've done a lot of work on the I-69 project. And in fact, they're having meetings today even for the next section, which is from Martinsville to the south side of Indianapolis.
That was just on the news yesterday. I just saw that.
They've had public meetings Monday, right, Tuesday, and today.
Wow. So you're obviously, we're in the internet here, so people, but you have now got Muncie, you're Hamilton, and now you're talking about Bloomington too, and you're looking for, you guys can practice in Indiana.
Right. We're licensed to practice anywhere in the state of Indiana, and I have practiced all the way from Gary to Evansville to Fort Wayne, all the way down to Vevey, what they call Vevey, Indiana, all the way down on the river.
Okay.
So there's not too many places, and especially with the internet now, there's some clients I have never even met face to face, because we either talk on the phone or we talk via email or some way through the internet. Sometimes we Skype if necessary. We do video conferencing.
Okay, so there's all kinds of ways. So if somebody is listening and they're saying, oh gosh, I need to talk to that guy, they could actually, and once you remind them, and then we'll talk again about good referrals and the work that you guys do. So
yeah, content. You can get us at mnmlegal.com, and M is spelled out just like it is there on the screen. There's different ways to get to us also through Twitter and Facebook. We both have those opportunities. But you can request a consultation online. It feeds right into Mark's email, or my email. Actually, it feeds into both, and the first one we can respond to gets it. And then depending on what the area is that work's needed, we kind of assign that to the attorney that has that kind of expertise.
Okay, so talking about expertise, you don't do bankruptcies.
We do not do bankruptcies. There's really 2 areas we don't do.
Okay.
We don't do bankruptcy, and we don't do Social Security disability. Those are kind of specialties that you really need to focus on if you're going to do those and stay up on current law. Our practice, because we do a lot of business work, it would conflict with some of that work. And because we do a lot of personal injury work, it could also conflict with some of that work. So it's 2 areas that, to be honest with you, we're not afraid to refer somebody, because we know lots of attorneys that do that work and would love to give referral opportunities there.
Cool. Okay, now just talking about, so somebody that's looking for an attorney, what are some of the things that should say, oh, McKinney and Malapit, I need to call them. What are the good referral?
Sure.
Some of the things people might be struck. I mean, once again, you kind of mentioned, you did talk about your different areas, and the things that you didn't do, you just talked about. So what are good
referrals? Good referrals for us is anyone who's maybe starting a new business. There's a lot of times that if people are trying to save money in the beginning on starting their own business, they're afraid to contact an attorney because they're afraid it's going to be expensive. Right. Be honest with you, in most cases we save them money. It costs them money to pay us, but as far as setting it up, maintaining it, giving them the right advice and contracts that they need to put in place for their business can be very valuable and can save them headaches in the future. A lot of times if you get a client and they don't pay, if we have the right enforcement provisions in their contracts, that's really something we can help them with.
Okay. Well, we're running out of time, as we always do, but one more time, give us the website, contact information, and then I'll leave them with the upbeat, which you're going to say, what?
That's all right. Yeah, again, it's Tom Malapit, and I'm with McKinney and Malapit, and we're located on the web at www.mandmlegal.com, spelled out MANDM legal.com.
That's very good. And I'm very fortunate that I've been working, or I'm in a couple different groups, I know Tom, and I've met some of yours, and I met Mark, and I know that you guys are great guys, so it's fun to bring good quality people That's what
Thank you.
You're welcome. The connection. But so then leading into what I always end up, or I try to remember to end up with what I call my upbeat. I'm a musician, so I do a lot, but I didn't sing to you today. Next time. But the idea is to be happy and leave you on a good note. And as we're in the holidays and everything else, people forget what you said and did, but they never forget how you made them feel. And I think somebody sits down and talks to you, even on a consultation, they're going to feel really good about making a decision to work with you guys. Or anybody that you refer. Yes, you would. And we thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we wish you're welcome. It was a lot of fun. We'll get you back. Jennifer to the rescue, and thank you for being here this week. We'll see you next time. Have a great